Am I the asshole for blowing up at a nurse for telling me that my daughter wasn't my daughter? So me and my partner adopted our daughter 2 years ago. We don't have any biological children and we don't really plan to just yet. Our daughter is 6 years old now. She does understand that she's adopted, and we've made it clear time and time again that even though she didn't come from my belly, we still love her and treat her as if she did. Good on you. The other day I took her to a pediatrician because she said that one of her ears felt full. She did have a cold last week, so that was expected, and he said that her ear would drain out eventually. All good. The nurse comes in with the discharge sheet and commented that she would never have assumed that I was the mother of my daughter since I looked nothing like her, which I don't for obvious reasons. So then I said, oh yeah, we adopted her, so that's why she doesn't look like me or my husband. Then the nurse goes, oh okay, so she isn't your daughter. I was a little confused because I thought I had just explained this whole situation. I said again, she is my daughter. We adopted her a few years back. The nurse says, but technically she isn't your daughter and her real mom is somewhere else. Okay. At this point, I think the nurse got some type of trauma because what the hell is she doing? I was really upset because what the actual heck? I said again, she is my daughter and I am her mom. The nurse kind of sighed and said, okay, maybe legally you are, but her real mom is the one that gave birth to her. My daughter was looking up at me kind of confused and I can't even imagine what was going through her head. I had enough. I said to this nurse, what the hell is wrong with you? I keep telling you that I am her mother and you keep denying that in front of my daughter no less. The nurse goes, I'm stating a fact. Biologically, she's not yours. I went again. Yes, because she's adopted. We adopted her and gave her a home. So what? Do I have to push her out of my vagina to be her mother? The nurse goes, well, that's the dictionary definition of what a mom is. I told her to watch her mouth because of all the bullshit she had been saying at me and my daughter, and I left and went home. I was really shaken up at this point and was still when we got home and my husband noticed. I told him what happened and he told me the nurse was really dumb for saying that, but I shouldn't have blown up on her like that. Am I the a-hole already? First off, you were not the a-hole in this situation, and I think this is exactly what this segment is for. This woman is an asshole. That's what a-holes do. What she's saying was unnecessary. It added nothing to your doctor visit. It was unprofessional, and while in some technical ways she may have some type of point, what was the point of saying that in front of you and your daughter? She was there to do her job and not to give her opinion about how you chose to complete your family structure and go about procuring your daughter. And also, you were absolutely right. Your daughter didn't need to hear that, and I'll almost say that this rises to the level of a complaint at the very least, because now there are thoughts and ideas in your daughter's head that wasn't there before, and you have to deal with them at some point. And that woman didn't care about how she made you or your daughter feel. You and your daughter deserve better. She should have been doing her job, and someone also should have told her that the show Maury has been canceled and we don't need her to tell us that you're not the mother when you are. Am I the asshole for threatening my husband to make him pay back the $6,000 he stole from me to buy golf clubs? I'm a nurse and have been working more hours for the past 6 months to be able to save money to fix the ceiling in our house. I've saved up to $8,000 in my account, and since my husband hasn't worked since 2020, I'm trying to balance rent and utility payments. My husband is a golf enthusiast, and so are his friends. Only difference is that all his friends are well off and they can afford expensive golfing gear and trips. They mentioned wanting to go on a golfing trip next week and invited my husband, but he initially refused, but complained about how his friends bought fancy golfing gear while all he has is old gear. He asked if I could lend him $6,000 so he could buy a set of golfing clubs, but I refused because $6,000 for a set of clubs is crazy expensive, especially for someone who doesn't work. He got upset and accused me of holding his employment over his head, which he couldn't help. Anyway, I thought we were over this argument, but I had discovered that he had pulled the $6,000 out of my account and purchased a set behind my back. I went home and exploded on him. He swore he'd return the money once he gets back from his trip, but I told him he had no right to take the money and spend it on a set of golf clubs while the ceiling needs fixing. He said that the ceiling doesn't require $6,000 either, but the kid's room was affected too. I demanded that he return the set or pay me the $6,000 right then and there. He told me I was being unfair to him and that he's feeling stuck because his friends can afford to buy whatever, because they have jobs, while he was being yelled at for wanting something for himself for once. I told him to get a job and to buy himself whatever he wanted. He tried to tell me he'll pay me when he finds a job, which is after he gets back from his trip, but I refused. He kept begging me to let him go on a trip and we'll figure it out later, but I said no. If it wasn't for something as important as the ceiling, I would have maybe waited, but he's saying I'm abusive and controlling his life. Am I the a-hole? Look, ma'am, do not let this man gaslight you into believing you were the bad guy in the situation. Not only have you been holding everything down by yourself, you have been putting in overtime in order to take care of your family to the best of your ability. You have problems with your roof and you saved up your money to fix it. You were a responsible adult. I'm pretty sure there are many times that there were things that you wanted to buy that you put to the side simply because you knew that you had to save up to take care of your family in the correct way. And your husband is over here maxing and relaxing and blowing bands on golfing equipment when he ain't got a job. And apparently him looking cool with his friends and going on a trip is more important than finding one. And I don't understand how this is lending him money and not just giving it to him because he hasn't had a job for 2 years, but all of a sudden when he need to pay you back for these golf clubs, he could be able to find a job pretty easily as soon as he get back from the trip. So we gotta ask ourselves, what the f*** you been doing for 2 years? Like, oh, now you can find a job. Well, I'm gonna need you to clock me my money back. So no, you are absolutely right. He is the a-hole. Am I the asshole for making my stepson walk home on his engagement night after his disgusting behavior? My stepson, Rowan, a 23-year-old male, just got engaged to his fiancée. She comes from a highly conservative family and they both won't live together till marriage. They're both on great terms and I have to say her parents are a bit much. So the engagement party was held at a restaurant. I drove my wife, Rowan, and his best friend, Jack, there because Rowan's car needed some work. Things went quite well and the party ended and everyone went home. On the way back, I had to stop by the store so I could grab something for our 16-year-old son. Rowan and Jack kept laughing when this young lady walked towards us because her car was parked next to mine in the parking lot. Rowan kept trying to speak to her while she was trying to load her stuff in the car. He and Jack kept throwing words at her and she seemed annoyed. Jack then said, "Hey, he just wants to look at that ass." Then Rowan said, "Let me see it jiggle, baby." I was appalled. I told them to both knock it off, but then Rowan sarcastically replied, "Relax, I was just giving her a compliment. I bet she won't get many of those too often." The lady got in her car and I started arguing with him about his behavior and shamed him for acting like this on his own engagement night. He argued back saying something about my car and I lost it. I told him to get out immediately. Jack got involved, so I kicked him out too. My wife got back and started engaging in the argument saying I can't let her son walk home from his engagement party. I replied that her son can't be harassing other women on the way back from his engagement party, but she kept defending him. I told her to either stay or get in the car. She did and I drove off. Rowan didn't come home and my wife gave me hell for it. We later found out that he was staying at one of his guy's friend's place. From what I understand, he's pissed at me and refusing to see me. My wife said it was my fault. She says that I escalated the situation over something stupid that boys do all the time. I told her that he can't do this while in my car, but she took it as in I was holding it over his head. She said I should have never made him walk the night of his engagement and demanded that I apologize to him. Am I the a-hole? Sir, see, this is the thing. I don't even know what a woman wants, and this is the perfect example. You try to be an ally, right? You fight against the patriarchy. You shame your stepson for all the negative he's done for harassing this young woman while she's just trying to get in her car. And your wife comes out and takes his side completely. Now, I get it, she wasn't there, but goddamn. You can't win for losing. But no, you were not the a-hole in this situation, and I completely applaud you for standing by your character and your principles and not allowing this young man to just harass this woman and think that it's okay. They were completely in the wrong, and while it may have been funny to and his friend Jack, they don't know how they made this woman feel. She could have been afraid. She could have been annoyed. That could have been the worst part of her day. It could have depressed her. You don't know what she's going through, and what she didn't deserve and what she didn't need is two men harassing her for nothing. She deserved better as a human being, and it takes good men standing up and checking other men when they do these kinds of things to make it uncool, unpopular, and for them to understand it is not the behavior that a man should exhibit, especially not one that's getting ready to get married. So no, you did the right thing. If Rowan didn't want to walk home, he shouldn't have been talking shit. Am I the asshole for refusing to give in to my Disney-obsessed adult sister? My niece just turned 5 and we got her a magic mixie. My sister Elsa has a strict Disney toy only policy and literally gives us lists of acceptable Disney only toys, but that's not what my niece wanted. She's been obsessed with getting a magic mixie since her friend got one. My brother-in-law doesn't care and gets her other stuff all the time. So I text him and he said that it was okay to not stick to the list since the grandparents got her stuff that wasn't Disney related. He said that he wants his daughter to branch out more and to ignore the list. But Elsa, his wife, is a Disney adult. Everything has to be Disney related. Before my niece was born, Elsa sent out a Facebook post and a family-wide email saying that anything without a Disney character on it, toys, clothes, bedding, furniture, these things would not be donated. They would only be thrown out. We've never actually sent my niece a gift at all because we knew Elsa would throw it away. Disney is her aesthetic and she'll throw things away in front of people who gift them to her if they're not plastered with the cartoon characters. Back to the story. At her birthday party, my niece opened the magic mixie and went bananas. Elsa didn't say anything other than a neutral, how cute, and then moved on to something else. After the party was over, Elsa went apeshit and said it's my fault she has to throw her kid's toy away. Apparently, she and my brother-in-law got into a big fight when she tried to throw it out during the birthday party. She also tried to give it to several other parents at the party. Jesus. The moms from our mom group called her insensitive that she tried to get rid of a toy her kid was so excited about and asked if she was going to do that with their gifts. My mom called me later and said that I was a huge for not sticking to what Elsa wanted and making her anxious about the presents. Because I guess after the party, her mom group of friends got pissed at her when they found out she throws gifts away. So she and the niece are uninvited from a lot of spring activities. Am I the a-hole here? No, you are not the a-hole. What we are watching is when someone who is doing something that is terrible has to suffer the consequences. See, it's cute and okay at first when the kid is 1, 2, and 3. She's gotten away with it for a long time, even though she was rude, disrespectful, inconsiderate, and a little crazy. People let her get away with that because either they didn't know or because husband was putting up with it. Looks like her husband is tired of this, and now the child is old enough to speak for itself, and nobody is going with this BS. It's not an aesthetic, it's an obsession. It has nothing to do with her daughter, it has everything to do with her. And to be honest, she needs some psychological help. And so yes, she is the a-hole, not you. And I would not apologize because that is reinforcing bad behavior, and eventually your niece is going to get sick of this, and she needs to face all of these people who she's offended head on and realize that she is the one in the wrong. You backing up her insanity by apologizing is not going to help anyone.